That's right. All right. Hello. Welcome to your mat. This is my friend Freddie joining us for today's practice. We're going to begin today's practice in the tabletop position. So come to all fours and then lower the forearms down onto the mat. You're going to begin to cat-cow the spine, rounding through the upper part of the back, drawing the shoulders and the armpits down to the hips as you round up and out through the back. And as you arc up and out through the spine, the arm bones draw back slightly and the tip of the hips lift up towards the ceiling. Bringing in a little bit of fluidity to the breath, as well as to the movement that we're creating. We'll hold a rounded back position. Press the top of the feet into the earth and feel as though you're suctioning up the inner leg line of both legs. So the inner thighs draw up into the socket of the hips. You're pressing through the tops of the feet, and it's an even pressure through the forearms. You should feel that core, or you may feel that core immediately begin to engage as the low ribs draw up towards the back body and the navel curls under as you gaze back at your tailbone. Hold here and find that fluid breath. Lower the knees down and then arc up and out through the spine. So an extension through the spine. We're going to lift our heart up. So the opposite way, Freddie, drop your belly towards the mat. Good. Draw the arm bones back. Yep, back towards the hips. So instead of the palms moving, the arms are going to draw back. Yep. Yes. Now, shoulder blades move wide to the space on the sides of your mat. And inner arm line roots down and in. And the breath is fluid. You'll come back to a neutral tabletop. Lower yourself all the way down to the earth. You'll place the right hand on top of the left palm. Bring your left cheek down to the earth. Press down through the tops of the feet. You'll inhale. The arm and the head will lift at the same time. And then lower. We'll begin to move through breath as you feel the right side of the body peel off of the mat and lower back down. Can you elongate your cervical spine a little longer, resting the cheek on the hand and lifting more up with that right side, right latissimus dorsi, quadratus laborium, and your spinal erecti muscles. Good. Hold here. What is the left arm doing? How is it aiding in the lift of the right side body? Lower yourself down. Nice, Freddie. Relax the clenching of the legs, but re-engage a nice tone where the muscles are hugging up to the bone. We'll switch the flipping of the palms, so the left palm on top, resting the cheek onto the mat or onto the palm, and then lifting elbow, cheek, ear up towards the sky, and then lowering it back down. That fluid breath aids in lifting the left side body and coming back down. Let's do one more here. The right forearm, how is it aiding you? What's stabilizing? Lower down. Bring the forehead to rest on top of the palms of the hands. Just notice the wings of your arms if they have a bit more width. Removing the hands, bring them underneath the shoulders. Curl the toes underneath you. And press up to a strong high plank into a downward facing dog. A few breaths in your downward dog, acquainting yourself with how the body feels in this moment, how the breath is traveling in and out of the navel, how it's tracking its way through the limbs of the arms and the legs, fingers and the toes. Keeping your downward facing dog shape, you'll take the left palm and bring it on top of the right. You're stabilizing now on 3 points of contact, so notice what happens with the hip and the effort in the shoulders. Engaging through both latissimus dorsi, the big muscles down the back side of the body. Left hand comes to plant. Both hands press down firmly and evenly. And take it over to the right. The right palm will rest on the left. We notice what's happening through our hips, through the trunk of the body, through the shoulders, and through the legs. Just by removing 1 point of contact. The right hand will come back to a downward facing dog. Fluid breath in and out. Slowly walk the feet to meet your hands at the top of your mat. A nice generous bend through the knees. A lightness in the toe, and toe heel your feet out hip width or shoulder width distance. It looks like we're going to get joined with some rain today, which will be nice. So finding a forward fold with a wider stance. Knees stay deeply bent. The inner thighs begin to activate as you lift the arches. Can I touch you? You'll migrate the weight forward into the balls of the feet, keeping the toes light, and then back to the heels. Loosen up through the jaw and through the back part of the neck as you lean the weight forward and lean the weight back. Now you'll take the weight to the outer edges of the feet and then the inner edges of the feet. And as you take the feet out to the outer edges, you'll notice your femur bones sliding wide to the sides of your hips. And as the arches ground in, you'll notice the femur bones coming right back neutral into the socket. So we use the outer hips energetically pressing the earth, spreading the earth away, and then we draw in and up. Feeling that in your own body for 2 or 3 more cycles of breath. You feeling it? Elongate the spine if it's not already there. Keep the pressure of the femur heads moving wide to the sides of the hips, and then come up to your standing Tadasana. Hands will come to rest at heart center. The shoulders slide wide. The head rests right on top of the tailbone. And free any tension around the belly and the pelvis as you draw in a deep breath. And a slow, fluid breath out. Standing through our feet, standing in presence. We set an intention or a dedication for the rest of our practice. Press the palms together, the warmth of the palms, inhale. That warmth translates into the body. Exhale. Inhale, arms reach up, mountain. Forward fold. Halfway lift, outer hips move wide, inner thighs engage and draw up. Forward fold. The hands will plant, the feet will step back to a high plank. Lower all the way down to the belly. Take the fingertips right behind the nape of the head or back of the skull. You'll turn over to gaze at your right elbow. Pressing down through the left elbow, you're going to lift the right elbow up, finding a slight rotation through the upper part of your neck and your thoracic spine. Then lower yourself back to neutral. Pressing down through the right, lifting up the left elbow, up and over. So we're focusing that effort in this rotation through the upper part of the spine. We find a continuous breath, not holding it, but letting it continue to nourish our movement. Oh, very nice. As we lean side to side. Very nice. We'll do one more in each direction. Then the hands will come underneath the shoulders. You'll press yourself up either into a high plank or a tabletop. Then to the downward facing dog. Feet meet your hands at the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Rise up through mountain pose. Forward fold. Halfway lift, outer hips move wide. Forward fold, inner thighs stay engaged. Hands plant, feet step back to a high plank. Slowly lower the whole body down to the earth. Now keeping the upper body as is, you're going to rest the palms on the forehead. We're going to take the effort to the lower body, so the right leg will lift off of the mat. You'll take the right leg over to the left, and now the twist is going to focus the lower part of our spine. So as the right elbow and right shoulder find a stretch down to the earth, the left leg is reaching back in opposition. How does that feel?
Wonderful.
Good. And then come back through center. And you'll make your way through that movement 2 or 3 more times, alternating sides. So now the left shoulder, left elbow soften down as that left leg, left hip open up in a deep rotation through the low back, sacrum, side body. Come back through center. And then move 2 or 3 more times through each leg. And discover where the sensations are most prominent for you. Maybe where the breath might get stuck, or those places that you'd like to linger that feel really good and nourishing. Learning our body through a moving meditation. Take a moment just to feel the difference in the upper part of the spine and the lower part of the spine, and then connect those two sensations up through the whole spinal column. So one integrated spinal column where the communication between the upper part of the shoulders and the ribs is communicating with the hips, the pelvis, and the lower legs. The hands will slide underneath the shoulders. You'll make your way up into a high plank or tabletop, and then downward facing dog. Feet come to meet your hands at the top of the mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Right foot steps back to a low lunge. Rise up through a crescent. The right femur head will roll forward. The width of the shoulders draw back. The soles of the feet ground down. Take your arms wide to the sides, shoulder width height about. Gaze over at your left palm. Gaze over at your right palm. To the left palm. Followed by the right. Continue moving through this gaze and cervical rotation of the spine. And just noticing how that gaze changes the balance through the center line of the body and the stability you feel through the feet. Low lunge. The left leg will step back to a three-legged dog. Hands will plant, left leg lifts up. Bring the heel down towards the seat to open up through the hip. So the heel will drop towards the right sit bones. Keep the leg up. Lift it all the way up, Freddie. And then bend at the knee. Draw the heel in towards the right sit bone. Now we find that elongated twist through the side body as if you were laying on the floor. Hips lean forward, rotation through the low back, mid-waist. Full breath in and out. Come back to your downward facing dog. Unravel the spine. You're nicely integrated through the deep core. That's a nice rotation back to downward facing dog. Feet will meet your hands at the top of your mat. Rise up through mountain pose. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Left leg will step back to a low lunge. Rise to a high crescent lunge. Left femur head rolls forward and down. Arms move out to the side. Chin comes to a relatively parallel position. And we take our gaze from one palm to the other. So as the gaze turns, do the hips follow suit? Does the weight press evenly through the front foot and the back ball? And are you breathing? Come to that balanced place. Arms are wings, nice and wide. Low lunge. Three-legged dog, the right leg reaches high and back. Open up the hip, draw the heel in towards the seat. I'm going to do an adjustment on Freddie just to give him a little bit more lift of the right quad. A leaning forward of the hips and a breathing deep into the space that you're creating in this shape. Good. Bring the hips back down. You'll come to a downward facing dog. Breathe into that integrated trunk of the body where shoulders are communicating with the hips. Then the attention falls to the palms of the hands and the balls of the feet. And we'll integrate those two into the shoulders and into the hips. So the plugging in of the feet into the pelvis, the plugging of the arm bones into the sockets of the shoulders. Walk the feet to meet the hands at the top of your mat. Rise up through mountain pose. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Plant the hand, step the right foot back to a lunge. Rise up to a high crescent. Hold your high crescent, bring the fingertips behind the nape of the head. Elongate your neck and a deeper arch up and out through the chest. Take the right elbow towards the left knee. Pause here. Before you draw the elbow to the knee, notice what's happening with the right foot. Rotate all the way around and then just suspend your spine in space, holding the engagement through the trunk of the body. You'll inhale, bring the shoulders back to a neutral position. On the exhale, you'll glide that right elbow towards the outside of the right thigh, but not place it there. You're just coming down a little further each time, but keeping that integrity through the length of the spine instead of collapsing and rounding in. Good. This time you'll take it all the way around for a lunge, twist, option to open up those arms nice and wide or keep the palms behind the head. Now with your elongated neck, the crown reaching, you okay?
My leg's just tired.
Held you in there a little too long?
Sorry.
Don't ever be sorry. It's good. You can always lower that bottom knee down. Yes. Lower the bottom knee down. Soften through the shoulders. A little less effort. More comfortability with the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Rotate. Inhale. From the tailbone. Rotate. Yes. One more round of breath. You'll unwind. Bring the hands down. Back toes curl under. Reach the left leg up. Three-legged dog. Downward facing dog. Lower down onto your knees. Come on to the forearms. Cycle through a few cat-cows on your forearms. Bringing the palms down Lifting the hips up, downward facing dog. The feet will meet your hands at the top of your space. Rise up through mountain pose. Forward fold. The left leg will step back to a lunge. Rise up to a high crescent. Fingers come behind the head to the nape of the neck. The left elbow will come towards the outer edge of the right foot. You're going to pause in a slight angle, suspending the torso from the reach of the heel and the opening of the right armpit. And then unwind the spine. You're in that diagonal, almost like an airplane torso. And we're twisting from the heel across to the right shoulder, right elbow. Nice, Freddie. You can always lower down to that back knee if that front thigh begins to fatigue. This is very deep integrated core work, and those muscles of the core fatigue a little quicker than the larger muscles found on the periphery of our body. So left side bend, more of that twist, twist, twist. You'll bring the left elbow outside the right knee. Keep that integrity through the length of the spine as you rotate from the tailbone. Unwind. Release the hands forward. Curl the back toe underneath you. Down, three-legged dog. The right leg will reach back. Downward facing dog. Feel into the body. Did you create some space? Are you connected to your breath? Are you more integrated into your being? Slowly walk the feet to meet your hands at the top of your mat. You'll lower the hips all the way down and then come down onto your spine. We're going to move into broken wing. So coming down onto your back, you're going to take the palm and rest the palm of the hand, palm facing down right in between your shoulders. So just one palm, let's start with the right palm, will come to the upper part of your back. The legs have an option to either straighten out or Supta Baddha, where the soles of the feet come together and the knees move out. We release the effort through the low back, allow the sacrum to rest heavy onto the earth. And we take a few nourishing breaths in and out. You'll slide that right arm out and replace it with the left. The nourishing breath moves in and out. Still well integrated through that spinal column with that line of communication from top of the head to the soles of the feet. You'll remove the left hand. You'll take the right shin and slide it on top of the left shin. You'll keep the knees, so stay where you were at. So the shin is going to come on top, the outer right shin, sorry. So you're going to lift it up and bring it on to the left leg. This will give you a deep rotation through the outer right hip. Are you feeling it? Good. Now you can take your palms and run down the length of your legs here, or draw up from the back of the thighs. You want to settle the pelvis down to the earth and come to a moderate sensation felt across the width of the back and through the outer hips. And then you'll replace your legs, switching. The left one, the left outer shin comes to the right inner shin. The effort of the breath begins to slow, and we start to settle into the feelings that we're creating, getting comfortable with letting go of that breath and moving in towards the sensations. You'll release the legs. Draw the knees in towards one another. Take the feet out nice and wide, but keep the knees bent. So keep the knees bent. Feet go wide, knees knock in towards one another. So if you'd like to bring the heels a little closer towards the seat, you can. A little further away. We're looking for a rotation inward of the thighs. Reconnect to that inner leg line energetically. Know that you have that strength always to pull in and up and out from. Yeah, it might feel good to naturally sway from side to side. So the body innately knows where it wants to move, but oftentimes we lose contact and connection with what the body wants. And then the legs will straighten, the arms will release down by your side, and you'll move into your final Shavasana. This pose of no effort, this posture of integration on all the levels of the mind, the body, and the spirit. I'll leave you here to linger and marinate as long as you can. We're joining by some rain. We're joined by some rain. Enjoy the rest of your practice with light, love, gratitude, and grace. Namaste.